evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's call with my gorgeous author, Kitty Cheng. I'm really excited to be with you guys tonight. And actually, it's been a little while since I've run a GoToWebinar webinar. Been using Zoom, as Kitty and I were just commenting before. I had the platform for a little while and now getting back into it. And it's nice to be on the old stomping ground here. So, guys, just want to make sure before we get into any nuts and bolts of this call that you can see the presentation, the PowerPoint that Kitty's showing from her end. If you can use the questions box and just say, hey, I can see it, tell us where you've joined us from, what part of Australia or the world perhaps you're in, and that'll confirm for me that you can hear me. Kitty, give us a hi to make sure the guys can hear you as well.
Hello, guys. Thanks for having me, Nat. I'm really excited to be here.
Excellent. And Les has just said, can see it from Geelong. Excellent, Les. Well, I flew across to the west this morning, and actually here it's only 5:30 over in Perth, and I'm up here hosting, well, the next 30 days is our national tour, so we're starting off with Perth tomorrow. So this has worked out perfectly, a little bit earlier, and then off to dinner with some of our Perth authors tonight. So thank you for confirming all that and that you guys can see our presentation. So that question box that you do have, hey, Tracy from Stanthorpe. Where is that? I don't know where that Stanthorpe is. What state is that? Or is it in a different country? Yeah, we'll get the call. We'll get the call started. This is being recorded. So if in Queensland, okay, coming up to Queensland mid September. Awesome. Welcome on the call. So yes, use that question box, guys. Ask any questions as we go along or make any comments. I will monitor that closely as Kitty does her presentation. But let me officially make the introductions, and it's really interesting how Kitty chose. We were just discussing before we got on the call live about these two pictures that she has put on her PowerPoint presentation, and we've discussed. I said, oh my God, when did this happen? And she said, well, the one on the left, Nat, was February last year. And that is the half-day workshop. Actually, Tracy's just saying, I'm going to see you in Brisbane, which is awesome. So that Brisbane workshop, Tracy, you're going to be at, Kitty was at that workshop in February last year. She had followed a little bit of the journey of the previous retreats, and she said to me, I've been following you for a couple of years online, and she finally made it to a half-day workshop. And that's the day she committed to complete her book through the Ultimate 48 Hour Author Retreat program. And that picture on the right that you guys can see, we worked out it was in August last year, so 6 months apart. And there I am holding her book, Juggling Health and Wealth, How to Keep All Your Balls in the Air Successfully. And she came to help out and crew at that particular workshop. So it was really exciting. It's like such a short period of time. I mean, literally 6 months between her deciding to do it, then coming along to the May retreat that year, and then August already she had her book, which is inspirational. And actually, if every single author did it as fast as Kitty did, we'd have so many, which we do, so have so many books. Just sometimes people are fast and sometimes people are slower. But the rate that Kitty did this book in is that perfect amount of time, 3 to 4 months, which I say after retreat, you should be holding your book, because that editing and layout process does take that period of time. So, Kitty, let's have a little bit of a discussion before we get into your awesome tips that you've got to share around your expertise. But tell the guys, why did you decide to write this first book? What was sort of the catalyst for you?
Yes, thank you, Nat. Well, there are a number of reasons why I wrote it. First of all, really, it had been on my bucket list. I'm sure that many people actually have had, writing a book on their bucket list and a dream to be an author. And for me, it was the case as well. And I remember as a little girl, I was, in fact, I'll tell a little bit about my story a bit later on, with a hole in my heart and not well and all of that. So that meant I wasn't able to do any form of exercise. And what that meant was I couldn't, be active. when I was young, and I had to stay home most of the time. And reading was my pastime. I loved reading, even as a little girl. And I remember reading books to a point that I always would say to myself, okay, well, one of these days I would love to be writing a book, because I find that reading books helps me so much in improving, my knowledge and that kind of thing. And but it always seemed like a far-reaching dream to be an author, and I didn't know how to start at all, and I really never took the leap to do it until I saw Nat on Facebook all the time, and I realized that, wow, there was this lady who is able to help people to write book in 48 hours in a retreat. And like, I've been just following her and watching her in her Facebook group and her live videos and all that, until February last year. I saw her retreat experience, and I just loved that whole video, all the videos and the Facebook posts that she shared with us. Then I jumped into the opportunity to attend the next workshop in in February, actually. So as you saw on the left of our screen here, and that was my workshop, and I decided right there and then after the workshop to jump on board to the 48-hour author retreat in May, which is the next one.
So tell me, what were your biggest challenges when you were thinking about, because everyone has different ones, and recently obviously I published a book called Shut Up and Write Your First Book, and I talk about the 48 reasons that stand in people's ways, and of course not every single person has all of those 48 reasons, but what were maybe your top 3 as to what you saw as your challenges to writing your first book?
Yeah, well, I guess when it comes to writing my first book, it was always, that little voice inside your head that said, oh, are you good enough? Are you really able to write a book to be an inspiration to others? Is your message going to inspire others, and that kind of thing? So self-doubt was the first one. And the other challenge was, I guess, keep telling myself that, oh, I don't know if once I've published a book, whether people will buy it, or that it will be doing what I really wanted it to do, that is to help me with sharing my message and improving my business, which was one of the reasons, because I really hope that, with my health coaching, the book would be like, a business card in steroid to be able to help me. And the third one was time, I guess, because, I had this mindset that in order to write a book, you really have to sit down and just spend so much time in writing it, and like spending years, if not like months, if not years. And for me, I always had that mindset that I would have to be really free in order to sit down to write a book. But when I learned about the system that the Ultimate 48-Hour Author has supplied and taught us, I find that these were all able to be solved. And I really found that the solutions were there for us.
Yeah, I love it. And what do you think was the thing? Because I loved the fact that you did follow the system to the T and obviously got your result in a very, very timely turnaround. What do you think your key success principle, if you like, if we want to call it, was to keep you on track?
Well, I guess, really basically with the system, we just followed it. And those of us, who are able to actually publish the book are all the authors that have been able to follow Nat's system. Yeah. So during the blueprint for the Ultimate Book Writing Success Workshop, Nat actually gave us, the tips and the value. And I knew that it would be really a no-brainer to, as we followed it, to be able to learn how to do it. So what I loved was, I guess, the chapter by chapter unpack, as well as the book unpack, as well as the, reading and into when we were in the retreat, the recording of it, and then we were able to get that transcribed, and that makes it so much quicker and easier.
Yeah, I love it. So really it's follow the recipe, which is what I say to everyone that I meet. Don't try to alter the model and the system. The system is there because then you'll save time and needing to, make up your own rules, which are usually going to get you into trouble. Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Yeah, and I also
Beautiful.
love the idea of the retreat experience where we would be able not only to just have the manuscript and the book unpacked before that, but during the actual retreat, we were able to learn so much about blueprint for business success as well, and that's another extra bonus, which I really appreciate. And thank you, Nat, for that.
Yeah, lots of leveraging information marketing, and of course you've been attending the master classes, which are additional 2-day face-to-face events. We host for you guys, 3 to 4 times a year, and it's amazing. So let's get stuck into it. We can ask more questions around your journey around this more towards the end of the call. And guys, if you do have questions for Kitty, I mean, you can type them in and we can ask them of her once she gives us some of her golden wisdom from how to juggle health and wealth, and some of her key insider tips in terms of what she shared throughout her book. So Kitty, I'm going to give you the floor and you can take it away and take us through your presentation, and I'll be taking notes also at my end, because I always love to invest my time into pulling away 1 or 2 golden nuggets that have a lot of meaning for you. So I will report back on those as we go through, and of course we'll stop and see if there's comments or questions as Kitty is doing her presentation, and then I'll share with you guys what I thought was my takeaways, as I hope you will as well. So go for it, Kitty. Tell us a little bit more about your story and of course some of your wisdom.
Okay, great. Thank you again, Nat. All right, so no matter where you are on your journey of health and wealth, or I'm sure, those of you that are on here, either in business or coaches or service providers that want to be making a difference in people's lives, I believe that there is a reason why you are where you are in terms of your health and or your wealth in terms of your business. And the fact that I wanted to write this book was because I was born with a congenital heart defect, which is an actual hole in the walls that separates the heart chambers. And as I shared a little bit earlier on already, that because of that, I really required surgery to fix, and hence I started loving reading books and hence wanting to write books as well. And not only that, my dad actually was a very, very successful businessman, and he was very wealthy. Yet he died of cancer, and he was overweight when, I was very young, and he was only 52 when he died of cancer. So as a result, health was something that I always cherished and treasured. So I took it upon myself to study all the different dimensions of health. That's why I really, felt it's an area that is my core value. Okay, now in terms of wealth, though, in the context of my book, Juggling Health and Wealth, I basically look at it as really unpacking it to the point of first, wealth is your health. Although, wealth can be financial, but, when you think about wealth, most people would straight away think about wealth as your monetary possessions and things that can actually give you, happiness and all that. For me, I will actually share a little bit later on about, my take on wealth and, the areas where many of people I interviewed about that as well. Okay, so just by way of introduction, because of the fact that I really enjoyed, studying about the different areas, what I call the 5 dimensions of health. I started with the Bachelor of Arts in Psychology at Melbourne University. The reason why I studied that was because I really love people and I want to learn more about, people's behavior and mindset. And also, I have a diploma of coaching in health and nutrition. And that really helps me to be able to coach people in the area of health and nutrition, particularly now in the area of weight management. And I think the reason why I'm so passionate about that was because of my dad. He was, overweight. He spent so much time being able to be successful, yet he didn't actually look after his body. And to honor him and to see as myself and my family, suffering, I don't want others to suffer like I have. And I really want to be able to coach people and help people to be healthy and at the same time having a thriving business. Whatever that you're doing, you don't have to be sacrificing your health. So that's why I was as I mentioned, going into the Ultimate 48-Hour Author System and Retreat to learn about it, and I'm so grateful that I did. And after the May retreat in August, my book was published and in my hands. And within 2 weeks, I was able to have my book launch, where I've got close to 100 people coming, which was really beyond my expectation and my wildest dream. And it was just such an amazing thing. In my book, the first part I wrote about, wealth is also friendship, relationship. And I believe that, if you've got people that love you, it's actually so much about you being like a billionaire in the sense that, you have that support. So I believe the reason why I was able to write this book was not only I've got this wonderful system, with the Ultimate 48-Hour Author, but I actually came out of my comfort zone, because I believe before that I was always feeling like, as I mentioned, that challenge of not good enough. Yet with the encouragement of Nat and Stuart, I jumped out of my comfort zone and came into this retreat where the magic actually happens. And my business is called Transform and Grow Rich, which is basically very much a semantic similar to a book which is my favorite, and that is called Think and Grow Rich. The reason why I believe transformation is so important, and that is because if we can transform different areas of our lives, including our health, our wealth, our business, our finances, and relationship, personal development, then we will be rich. And that richness or that wealth is financial, yes, money, but also other areas. So what I'd like to ask you, is the question: do you believe that what you do today can improve your tomorrow? Maybe you can actually type in the chat bar. As a business owner or a service provider or coach, whoever that you are, that you're listening in, watching this webinar, do you believe that what you do today can improve your tomorrows?
Yes.
I believe that too. Yeah, because I'm sure that you would say yes too, because whether has been your experience or not, I personally believe that, because I started off, business a few years ago already, and in the beginning, there were so many things that I had to learn, and even writing this book, like it's been 1 year, I still have so much to learn in business in order to leverage it for my business. Yet I believe that what I did in writing my book, in also doing the business and different things, really helped me to improve my tomorrows, or my yesterday have helped me with my today. So the 3 key factors to actually juggle success, which I've written in my book, include unlock your wealth, nurture your health, and find your flow. So these are the 3 areas which in the next little while I'll share, which is basically the summary of what I've written in my book. Okay, so the first thing is to nurture your health. Now, when it comes to nurturing your health, I use an anchor action. I always use an anchor action, which basically, when you think about anchor, it goes from the top and then, come down and then turn to the side, right? And my ethos is, it is health that is real wealth. Now, that is one part. And basically, if you think about the 5 different dimensions, you look up, that's the spiritual, and then your mental, and then your emotional, your physical health, and then your social health. And let's dive into each of them. Now, if you were to think about your personal goals, obviously there would be different goals for different people with your well-being. But by and large, as a health coach, as a weight loss coach, these are the things that I generally see are my clients' goals. And they include things like healthy weight, to be lean and strong, to be physically active, to be vibrant, full of energy, spiritually and emotionally grounded, mentally sharp, and socially connected for the rest of your life. Let me tell you a little bit about my story. As I share that I had to have a surgery to fix my heart, so to speak, right? So that I was able to really live better. Now, as a result of that, I didn't still, after my surgery, which was when I was about 11 years old, to do much exercise. Yet I realized that it's so important for my health. So I started learning about, the different areas of health, and then go through, all these things as my goals as well. So when it comes to the well-being of your spirit, mind, soul, body, and relationships, what are the areas that you feel is most important to you? Like in my book, each part of the uh, areas of the health and the dimensions of health, I actually focus on the resourcefulness and unresourcefulness, and obviously each of us will be different. So with regards to the spiritual dimension or the well-being of your spirit, I relate to our senses of the overall purpose in life, because if you don't actually have a purpose in your life, then really our life is not meaningful, right? So having the purpose helps us to maintain a proper perspective and overcome challenges in our life. And so if you're able to think about, what your purpose is, then it will actually help you to live a life full of meaning. Then your mental health. Now, mental health is an area that is the well-being of your mind, and it is about self-awareness and who you are relative to the rest of the world, and also the cognitive aspect of your health as well. And in terms of emotional health, is the well-being of your soul. Now, a lot of people think about emotional health as whether they have good attitude, confidence, and the ability to appreciate what you have. And it's so true, because if you have emotional strength, your ability to recognize and express feelings will help you to be connected to others. And again, all these different areas are connected, your body, mind, and spirit, right? And then your physical health is generally the area where most people focus on when they think about their well-being, and that is the bodily aspect, like the absence of disease and illness. However, when we think about optimal health, it's very important for us to not only just think about our exercise and our nutrition. Yes, these are the main things, or common sense when it comes to physical health, but mindset is equally as important, if not more. That's why we need to learn about how to be healthy, with our mindset, and that's the psychology with food, and how you want to manage your wealth, your health, and your weight management as well. So in terms of the final, which is the social health, which is an area that most people actually see that they're socially connected. Like true dimension of health really refers to our ability to make and maintain relationships with others. And so good social health includes rich connections with people around us, like our family, our friends, and community. So if we have all the health, like if you go to the gym 6-7 days a week, and if we eat healthy all the time, but if our relationships with loved ones are not good, then it still means that we're not the most healthy in terms of our total well-being. So I don't know whether there is any one or two that you personally are interested in learning more. If you do, I actually run a lot of different workshops in the different areas, but in my half-day workshop, I actually go into each of these at length, where we identify your health dimension that you're most resourceful in, or that you're less taking care of or neglecting, and then I have a lot of different resources to help you improve them as well. But maybe while you're actually on this, think about, give yourself a score of 1 to 10. Like 1 is like way out of balance, or 10 is full harmony, which is the area that of the five dimensions that you feel like you need to improve on, or that you're already good. And what are the baby steps that you can make to unlock your first wealth, which is your health? So that's something that I'd like you to think about. And so this is the holistic health area, which is a summary of what I was just talked about, the 5 dimensions: the spiritual, emotional, mental, social, and physical. And when you think about your healthy life, eating healthily, exercising regularly, reducing stress, and drinking plenty of water is important when it comes to weight management and your physical health management. So that was the part that I would love to for you to think about in terms of health. So now let's think about wealth. Now, when you think about wealth with a purpose. I remember, while writing, on a Facebook group that I was asking people, social media context that, what do they think wealth means to them? I got all sorts of answers, and here are some of them. The first one is, well, wealth is financial freedom, not having to think or worry about money when I need it. The second one is, wealth is what you value. Wealth is much more than money in my bank account, but increasing trust by increasing the number of friends. So again, this is like the social side of, well-being, and that's considered wealth by a person. And this is really more than financial. To me, simply to align your hierarchy of value with your goals, missions, and destiny. And having wealth to me is having a healthy, happy family, self, and loved ones, which with deep, trusting, respectful relationships. So these are the different meanings, that people have put into wealth. So to me, I believe that wealth has a whole lot of meaning, but one of the most important is a sense of overall purpose, because if you have purpose, then your life will be a lot more meaningful and you will feel fulfilled, right? And so the first wealth is health. And when you think about the parallel between health and wealth, there is actually a deep parallel, because when you're able to live a life full of the different dimensions of health, then you will be rich in the different areas that we talked about. And your passion also, it will actually ignite greater wealth. So any questions so far in regards to this connection between health and wealth?
I've found the definitions of what you shared, that you had done a bit of research as to how everyone defines it, and that was really cool. But yeah, there's no further comments. So keep going, Kitty. I think it's really cool.
Wonderful. Okay, so I believe that, in terms of wealth, the abundance mindset is crucial. There is this concept, psychologically called the abundance loop. Many people don't know much about why their mindset is not helping them to be either healthy or wealthy. And I think this has a lot to do with it, because if you have the mindset of being grateful, which is the top one, I'm thankful for either, my business or my paychecks or whatever that you have, then it will actually attract more. So that's very, very important for you to be understanding that gratitude actually attracts abundance, right? And then from there, you will have peace of mind with the money that you have, because there is also a lot of money mindset that people have that causes them to be feeling like they don't actually deserve money, or that they are not good enough to earn money, or they think money is negative or dirty or whatever it is. Really, that has to be something that you have to work with in order to be at peace with your money, so that you know what the money has come into your life and can do for you, right? And then the third thing is the wise choices. You can say to yourself, I always have a portion and I save wisely and all that, which I'll talk about. I've got an ebook called Transforming Your Financial Life, which actually can help you make wise choices in terms of how you can transform your wealth as well. So the other part is positive outcome will be a result as you go through this loop, because you will then enjoy your financial security or financial freedom. And once you're able to actually go through this financial security and abundance mindset, then it's not a matter of if, but when it will happen to you. So this is the ebook that I have, and if you want a copy of it, you can go onto my website, healthwealthformula.com, and that is also where you can get my book, Juggling Health and Wealth, as well. So I call it Bliss Principle. Bliss stands for B, budgeting. Now, I won't have much time tonight to go through each of them, but I do have uh, another masterclass that's coming up in September, where I'll be going through the transforming of your financial life, where you can learn about all these 5 different topics in a workshop setting. We'll actually go into very much detail of each of these 5 components, right? And L stands for leveraging, how you can actually leverage in order to have wealth, financial wealth. And then I is investing, and I have quite a number of my affiliate and also partners and friends that are actually in the investment fields that I'll be working alongside them to be sharing with you how you can invest to create wealth as well. And then saving is an area where, you know, a lot of people don't think a lot about, but it's also crucial for wealth creation. And then finally is shopping annuity, which is another business that I have whereby I help people use shopping as a way to create an annuity. Annuity is a way that you can actually create an ongoing income. So that will create a prosperity. But if you want to know a little bit about each of this, you can check, go into my website, Health Wealth Formula, and put your details there, and I'll be able to send you that ebook as well. Okay, so finally,
I'll
yeah.
put that link for you in the chat box. So if anyone just wants a quick click through, then they can follow it. By the way, there's one question here from John, and he says he just asked, how do you practice gratitude? So how do you do it, Kitty? I've got a way I do it. So how do you do it?
That's a great question, John. Well, I basically have a gratitude journal. Like every night before I go to sleep, I would write at least 3 things that I'm grateful for the day. So that is something that I've been practicing for a while now. I like writing journal, like I have my food journal and different journals, but this particular gratitude journal helps me to be having a happy and contentment and also that thankfulness all the time. So that's how I do it. How do you do it, Nat?
Look, I've done gratitude journals. Sometimes, you know, after a little while, it can become a bit of a chore for me. So
Right.
I actually like to do it as a little bit of a ritual before I go to bed, or first thing as I wake up in the morning, like just in my mind. And actually, from certain experts, I have learned that even to start really general and not too specific, like many people can say, I'm grateful for my family, my health, my kids, all that kind of stuff. But even just I'm grateful that I have this comfy bed to sleep in, and you know, I have my fluffy pillow, like, you know, starting really like general little things like that I have I've learned from some other people who talk about this a lot. You know, that it doesn't put as much pressure on you having to come up with grand things that you have to be grateful for. I don't know, do you do that, or do you pick all the big things?
No, it doesn't have to be big things. Like even the other day, I really love green tea, you know. So I actually went to T2 and I got this really yummy Buddha teas, T2 green tea, which I've never had. Normally, I just have trimmings, you know. But oh, even just a small thing like that, I was so grateful that I found a good green tea that I love drinking. So something
Love
small like that, and I just I think I've developed a habit that I am able to see small things, because you know they always say if you can smell the roses along the way, be mindful of that, then you will become more grateful to the small things in life.
Yeah, I love it. Beautiful. All right, tell us what you've got here.
Okay, well, so I've got this offer that basically I offer to, you know, my potential clients if they're interested in working with me, and which basically has 3 components. And the Elite Plus is generally what are the ones that most people like to work with me 6 months, and is on a group coaching program where I give them all of the things in the middle. But you can actually, request that if you want to have this form. You can text me, like, you have health wealth formula, you've got my details there. But basically, including, my book and the 14-day wellness challenge. And I've got an online 8 weeks to feeling great coaching and accountability group as well. And I've got the ebook. So basically, the health component, the 5 dimensions of health and the 5 pillars of wealth that are written in the book, I've actually included in this particular program, including workshops and online program.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. So if anyone is interested, please feel free to contact me. And so that's basically it. And and this was
there we are. I love it. Yeah, these last couple of photos, guys. I guess that was an event Kitty hosted for me earlier this year. I was her guest speaker, and she put on an awesome networking evening / workshop style event, which was a lot of fun. And she spoke at that, and then her group book launch, which was in the bottom picture. She's actually taking part in our next group book launch. So if any Melbourne people are on this call or are listening to the recording, we've got the next group book launch coming up on the Friday, 7th of September. I'm just popping in a little link here in the chat box. So it's a bit.ly link followed by group book launch, and you guys can come along, and we're launching another 10 plus authors in the evening in Doncaster in Melbourne. So so a couple of other things, questions that have come up from Amy. What has your book done for your business? And by the way, guys, if you do have any more questions for Kitty, please type them up and I'll go through them with her. So tell us about what has your book done for your business since it's been out now exactly 1 year. So you've had this book for 12 months.
That's right. For some reason, I can't see the question. So if you wouldn't mind reading it out loud for me, that would be great. It has been exactly 1 year. My personal book launch was the 17th, so it was exactly 1 year of August last year. Well, I really loved the opportunities that have presented themselves as a result of me writing this book. I found that the leverage is amazing, and I've been able to not only do workshops, but the opportunities to share my message in, like speaking engagements. I've had a lot of opportunities. People have invited me to speak in either their meetup groups or in networking groups or online as well. Even in Asia and America, I've actually done quite a number of online forums, and I was invited to Singapore back in August to do a workshop, a weekend thing, and then I'm going to Japan in October. It's sort of like a book. It's going to be like a book tour, but I'll be speaking as well, and I find that people have more respect for me as an author and business owner, which gives me greater standing and allows me to start conversations around them and their wants and their needs, particularly in the area that I'm so passionate about. To me, the business is also helping people to be, healthier and wealthier. So to be able to help people do that is not only about the business itself, but to support and to, they call this the psychic income, which is the income that you get from the satisfaction and fulfillment for being able to help others. And also, I love the opportunities to collaborate with other business owners, like in joint venture partnerships. And I was looking at my last year's financial goal due to book related activities, and because I also have my online business, I've been able to with both products and book sales and the workshops, the people know me a lot more than I was able to feature it in some of people's like online forum as well. So I guess, having my readers and clients tell me the content of my book has made an impact to them is also one of really best feelings too.
Yeah, there is that tangible financial reward. Then there's the intangible, I believe, opportunities that you get. And then obviously there's the make a difference factor, and the feeling of it, as well as your own personal transformation. I mean, you guys that are listening, and if you haven't written a book, I mean, I always finish off my presentations with the quote that I came up with, and that is that it's not about writing your first book, it's about the person you become at the other end of it. And it is that person that then has grown more in confidence and self-worth and thinks of themselves in a different way that starts then attracting these opportunities. And that's where the business starts to skyrocket, and you start inviting and attracting those kind of opportunities into your life. So I believe there's many different factors. The one thing that I also always talk about, it's not about how many books you sell. It's probably how many books, have you given away to be able to, get your foot in the door and get an opportunity or a collaboration or a speaking gig and all that kind of stuff. Yes. Because, purely you're not going to get rich just from book sales.
That's right. So true. So true. As a result of having the book, it's just been an amazing experience. And obviously knowing there are many people that have had that ripple effect as a result of you helping them as well. Nat, you're just amazing. Like even just knowing you, it makes it all, worth it.
Look, this to me is like, seeing people like yourself change, from one type of person to just that next level, evolved individual who's achieved personal growth is super rewarding. And then the business stuff is also that additional bonus that I love to observe. And, I believe you're only at the very beginning of your journey, only 12 months out. Sometimes I do often follow up the ones that have been out 3-4 years, and just to see their lives are just completely different to what they were before they had become an author. That to me is why I keep doing what I do, and I can't wait to discover some more people on this national tour, and help them as we have helped you. And I'm very grateful that you have always continued to support us and to remain in the community and to keep the relationship high value, win-win, because coming along to the master classes and crewing and vice versa, learning, continuing to learn is really to be commended.
Yes, definitely. And also social health, as I really love, is an important part of my core values. To be able to keep the relationship and friendship is just so crucial. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. So I trust you guys have taken away some of those awesome insights. Obviously, Kitty's got all this information and resources on that website, healthwealthformula.com, with her bonus ebook, and that's where you can also purchase an actual copy of her book, and check out other things that she does, as well as the mentorship that she offers. And of course, we would love to see you face to face and celebrating with us on the 7th of September at the group book launch. So those couple of links are in the chat box, and if someone's listening to the recording, we will share them for you guys in the email or wherever we post this recording, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of follow through of the people who couldn't make it live tonight. Any final parting words to maybe give first time authors, just one hot tip, and advice if they're thinking and they still haven't taken the leap of faith of writing their first book?
Yes, I'd say if you've been thinking about writing a book, please don't delay, because, there's this saying that if you actually want to achieve something and you want to wait till the opportune time never comes. It's when you take action, then you'll make it happen. And that was what I did. And I wouldn't have done it without the Ultimate 48-Hour Author system. And I'm sure that if you do it, that you will be able to follow it and also have your books in your hands.
Yeah, I agree. Make the gap, as they say, which is, the gap that you got to figure out where to find the time and the resources. And then you'll see, once you've taken the leap and the commitment, how you quickly start to paddle, like the little ducks under the water, to make it, a reality in your life. So, yeah, exactly. I love it. Thank you so much, Kitty, for being a guest on the call tonight and sharing some of your authoring journey, as well as some of the passion that you have around health and your story is amazing and inspirational, and it's sad that often our lives, out of our biggest, I guess, shit hits the fan moments in our lives, that our biggest blessings and wisdom and expertise comes from. But you know, often pain is a big catalyst for change, and you know, for us to figure out how to solve something for ourselves, which then helps thousands of others have those shortcuts that we've gone through to achieve ourselves. So I love it. Thank you again, and thank you those of you that joined us live, and those of you that have watched or listened to the recording. Be in contact if you're interested in anything that Kitty or myself have said, and we look forward to connecting with you guys. Follow us on Facebook, and I'm sure, Facebook is our main platform with Kitty, so we're she's got a group there called by the same name as the book, Juggling Health and Wealth. And we've got obviously Author Your Way to Riches, which is our group. So talk to you guys soon. Have an awesome night. Bye.
You too. Bye.